Hey guys, I'm Erin and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm bringing you the book buying tag. So I saw this video done by Justine from I Should Read That, and I'll link her video below and check hers out. And so let's get started with the questions. Question 1, where do you buy your books from? Well, several places. So first off, I have a book of the month subscription, so I buy 1 to 2 books from them every month. And then when I'm buying new books, almost always Barnes & Noble, but occasionally Target, like maybe 1 book a year I'll get from Target if they happen to have one I'm interested in, because they usually have discounted books. Just their norm is that they're discounted. If I'm buying used books, I will often get them from thrift books, because I started doing that last year when, going in person to bookstores wasn't happening. And so if I'm looking for a book that's like a couple years old, I can usually find it on thrift books discounted. Or I have recently discovered a used bookstore nearish me, and so now I'm starting to kind of put that one in the rotation a little bit, see if I can find it there first before ordering from thrift books. And yeah, do I get books anywhere else? If I'm buying ebooks, also Barnes & Noble, because unlike pretty much everyone anywhere, my e-reader is not a Kindle. It is the Barnes & Noble Nook, so get all my ebooks from Barnes & Noble, not Amazon. I can't say I've never bought books from Amazon, but I really don't try to. Question 2, do you ever pre-order books? And if so, do you do this in-store or online? Well, I didn't know you could pre-order books in-store. I thought that was just an online thing. So when I've done it online, I don't do it a lot. Before this year, I never did it. And then this year, I started keeping track of new releases in this little reading notebook I got for this year. So I started keeping better track of a lot of new releases, and so I decided to start trying to pre-order. So for the first 3 months of this year, I would pre-order. And the way I would pre-order was also at the beginning of a month, I would pre-order a couple new releases from that month that I wanted. I wouldn't pre-order past the month I was in. So not a long-term pre-order. So they don't charge you until they ship it. I don't want to choose to buy it in January and then sit and be charged in September. So I would only pre-order for the same month, just because I do a month-by-month budget. But anyways, I stopped doing that when I moved, because I stopped ordering books online while I was moving, just so I didn't have to guess, oh, will this get here before we move or after? Which address should I put in? And I just haven't picked it back up. I do think I'm going to end up pre-ordering The Bone Ship's Wake by R.J. Barker in September and Jade Legacy by Fonda Lee in December, because those are 2 new releases I definitely want. So I think I might go ahead and pre-order those within their respective months. Just already get them on there, get them ordered, and ready to go. Question 3, on average, how many books do you buy a month? So when I was reading through these questions before filming this, my guess was originally 5 to 6, and I was like, wait, I should just count from this year in average, because again, in my nice little notebook, I have a page for each month where I write down it's my book haul page where I keep track, and the actual answer is 8.75 a month. So I was kind of close. Could have been a worse guess, but not bad. I think it's definitely not a consistent. It definitely fluctuates. Goes from a lot to a little, or some months it's a lot, some months it's a little. So it was hard to guess when it's not consistent, Question 4, do you use your local library? Yes, so I have three library cards for 3 neighboring counties where I live, because I have the county I grew up in and where my parents still live. I have the county I used to live in before I moved in April, and I have the county I currently live in. And so the one county I used to live in, that one expires in January, because it's only 2 years at a time. You have to renew it. And so since I don't live there anymore, I'm not going to be able to renew that one. So I'm going to be losing that one come next year. But the county my parents live in, that one, when I got it, it had a 50-year expiration date. So we're going to be trucking with that one. And I'm pretty excited, because mostly I've recently just been using that county's library for ebooks, because you don't have to go pick up ebooks. But now my new commute to work goes directly by a branch of that library, the branch I went to when I lived at home. So we can start using that one for physical books again if my actual county library doesn't have it. So mostly I use the library for ebooks, even with my county where it's convenient. I still mostly use the library for ebooks just because it's the ultra convenience and I even have to go pick them up. But I do occasionally get physical books. Sometimes they just don't have the ebook. Also, recently and during COVID, I noticed a lot of times the ebook would have a really long wait, but the physical book would have no wait at all. So if it's a book I'm want to read soon, or is a book club read, I will get the physical if it's a quicker read. But sometimes I like to put my name down on long lists on ebooks, just to have some ebooks on hold, that are just waiting, and they'll come in they're in the ready, it's they're on deck kind of thing. So sometimes I specifically putting my name on long lists, just to have them in the works kind of as they come in. So 5. If so, how many books can you or do you borrow at a time? So can you? I think my libraries are both 25 ebooks and then 25 physical books at a time. I'm not sure. I definitely don't get close to that. I think it's either 15 or 25 hold requests at a time, and I do hit that sometimes, and I do hit my hold limit on ebooks sometimes. I can't quite remember if it's 15 or 25 now. But I think it's a similar checkout. I don't hit the checkout limit, like, ever. Because recently the library has reopened to in-person browsing, and in-person browsing I have, like, no impulse control at the library because it doesn't cost any money. So I'll just walk out with, like, $10 when I went in for one. Ebooks, I often have out 1 to 4 at a time. It usually doesn't get more than that. Luckily, like, I know sometimes I'll have a bunch of requests that seem spaced out, and like a bunch of them will come at once, but it usually doesn't get to be more than 4 or 5 at once. Luckily, because any more than that, it would be out of control. Question 6. What is your opinion on library books? I don't really know what this question's getting at. Like, they're good. I use them. I read them. I'm not sure what more opinion there is on there. Question 7. How do you feel about secondhand books? I am fine with them. If I'm in person at a used bookstore, I will tend to not want to, pick up ones that are, like, super, super worn. But they don't have to be, like, pristine condition either. Like, there's a middle ground that I'm cool with. And I know if I'm ordering, like, on thrift books where you can't see it, it's definitely a gamble, and, like, I accept that gamble. And, like, it's fine. Like, my own books will definitely get some wear and tear just from use. Like, I'm not ripping them up, but, like, I'm not treating them with, like, white gloves either. So I don't mind, like, a little bit wear on my secondhand books, and they're cheaper, so it's like, to me, it's a fair trade-off to get cheaper books. They maybe not be pristine condition, and, like, that's fine with me. Question 8. Do you keep your read and TBR pile together or not? I don't. So the bookshelves that are in the backgrounds of my videos are always my read books. Well, with a few exception. The exception here is that I have the Wheel of Time books here, and I have not read the entire series, but I wanted to keep them together on the shelf because it's, like, such a big series. I just wanted to go ahead and carve out a space big enough for the whole series on my red shelf. So that's, like, an exception, that I had the entire Wheel of Time series on my red shelf, and I've only read half of it. But, like, other than that, and, like, maybe 1 or 2 other random ones, I essentially keep my TBR separate on its own little shelf across the room. And I like to do that just because I like to have the visual separation, and also when I'm, like, one, because it helps me visualize how many unread books I own to keep it under some control. And also when I'm going to, like, pick out a new book, I can just, like, see all the options, and, like, I can just, like, stand there and be like, yes, these are the options. So keep it separate for those reasons. 9. Do you plan to read all the books that you own? I mean, yes. Yeah. I mean, like, I might have some, like, miscellaneous reference books, like, over on my, like, nonfiction reference books things. I'm not gonna, like, read back to front. But, like, my fiction books, yeah, that's why I have them, you know, and, like, if I decide I'm not interested in one, I will probably unhaul it and not just keep it. I also, like, my physical TBR right now, I think, is between 50 and 60, and someone who reads between 150 and 200 books in a year, like, that's a reasonable number of unread books that I can get through them. It's, like, not like I have so many that I literally will never get through them kind of deal either, so yes. Question 10. What do you do with books that you own that you feel you will never read, felt you did not enjoy? So I used to, like, not get rid of books at all. Like, growing up, even if I didn't like it, I just hold on to it. And I have changed recently in that if I've read a book and don't like it, I will unhaul it. And I have not unhauled any books I have not read yet because I'm like, I don't know, I'm like, I bought it or was gifted it, so I want to at least give it a chance before just unhauling it. And so I will unhaul it, and I guess this also is answering the next question, which is, have you ever donated books? Which is, yes, when I unhaul them, I'll either take them into the used bookstore, or if it's just, if I only have, like, 1 or 2, I'll go to the little free library near me and stick those in. But if I have, like, a bigger stack, like I did a big unhaul a couple months ago, that was, like, a huge bag, I'm like, those won't all fit in the little free library. So I took them to the used bookstore, and then, like, a month or 2 later, I had, like, 2, and I took those to the little free library because I could fit 2 in that box. 12. Have you ever been on a book buying ban? I mean, like, not really. Like, I definitely hit a point, like, after I moved into this house and, like, got all my books finally in one area and all these shelves and had my physical TBR, like, on a shelf, I was like, okay, I've set myself a physical limitation of the physical TBR has to fit on this shelf area. It cannot be bigger. If it So as long as the shelf is full, I cannot get new books. So that's like the closest I've gotten. But that's like never usually like a long-term book ban. That's like a, oh, it's full, but if I read two, then I can go get this new one I want. So it's like not like months and months book buying. Like I've heard some people who do that. So, question 13. Do you feel that you buy too many books? No. I used to be like afraid like my husband would judge me for how many books I bought. But I talked to him about that a couple months ago. I was like, do you? And he was like, no, because here's what he kind of made me realize is, here's the thing. I always buy books within my financial means to do so. Like, I don't blow budget on books. I don't, like, spend money on books that's supposed to be used on, like, bills or food or anything like that. Like, I have always spent within my financial means on books. And therefore, I have never irresponsibly bought books. So I don't feel I bought too many. Anyways, that was the book buying tag. If you want to do this tag, I will leave the questions in the comments. And let me know what your answer to some of these questions are. And I will see you in my next video.